what does it mean to be mature? This question, seemingly simple, unravels into a complex puzzle when we attempt to define it. Maturity isn't about the number of candles on your birthday cake, but rather it's a state of mind. It's a balanced state where emotions and ego don't get the upper hand, but instead, wisdom prevails. Consider it as a process, a journey even, where you're constantly making decisions. But these aren't just any decisions. These are wise, well-thought-out choices that take into account a 360-degree view of the situation. And with each decision, you navigate through the labyrinth of life, inching closer towards the core of maturity. So let's debunk the myth. Maturity isn't a gift that time bestows upon us. It's a mindset, a well-earned wisdom that comes from experiences, both good and bad. So, maturity is not about age, but a state of mind. Imagine you have always been the fastest runner in your school. But one day, you lose a race. The wind is knocked out of your sails, your pride takes a hit, and for the very first time, you taste the bitterness of defeat. Now, here's where maturity steps in. How do you react? Do you sink into depression, berate yourself, or blame the weather? Or do you accept that despite your best efforts, someone was simply better than you on the day? Do you appreciate the winner, acknowledge their strength, and find motivation in your failure? If you choose the latter, that, my friends, is maturity. It's the ability to see the bigger picture, to understand that failure is just as important as success in the grand scheme of life. It's about recognizing that each stumble, each fall is a stepping stone towards growth, towards wisdom. This reaction is an example of maturity. Picture yourself deeply in love, only to find your beloved marrying someone else. The world as you know it collapses. It's a moment where emotions run high and reactions can vary dramatically. Some may let anger and bitterness consume them, viewing every subsequent interaction through a lens of betrayal. They might find themselves spiraling into depression, believing life without their loved one is meaningless. But consider a different approach. Consider the strength of character it takes to view love as a phase of life, an emotion that ebbs and flows rather than a fixed point that defines your existence. Imagine acknowledging the heartbreak, but then choosing to move forward with a positive pulse. It's about understanding that life is bigger than one person or one emotion. It's about accepting change and learning to find joy in the unexpected turns life throws at us. And it's about recognizing that our worth is not defined by someone else's choices. This response is another example of maturity. Imagine your colleague makes a major mistake at work that affects a client. Now you're faced with a choice. Do you blame them, expose them to the client, and potentially damage their career? Or do you choose to support them, understanding that everyone is prone to errors? This decision, my friends, is a measure of maturity. Maturity is not about being error-free. It's about how we react when errors occur. The path of blame might seem easier, might even seem justified, but it's the path of support that truly displays maturity. It's about taking responsibility, not just for your actions, but for your team as well. Remember, it's easy to stand tall when everything is going smoothly, but it's during the storms where true character is revealed. Supporting your colleague, owning up to the error, and working together to rectify it, this is the hallmark of maturity. This action is yet another example of maturity. Consider yourself a senior police officer investigating a complex case. You're new to the role, in unfamiliar surroundings with the weight of responsibility on your shoulders. Do you take the easy route, accepting the scene at face value, relying solely on physical evidence and hearsay? Or do you delve deeper, utilizing your hard-won knowledge, your rich tapestry of experiences, and trusting your gut instinct? A mature approach would be to view the investigation from all angles, to empathize with the victim, to balance the scales of justice. It's not just about solving the case, but also about understanding the nuances of human behavior, the complexities of society, and the labyrinthine nature of truth. It's about having the courage to challenge assumptions, to question the obvious, and to follow your intuition even when it leads you down the road less traveled. This approach is the final example of maturity. It's about having the wisdom to know that every situation is a puzzle, and every puzzle has multiple solutions. In the last scene, we saw how maturity comes into play in the complex world of criminal investigation. But what, you may ask, is the price of such maturity? Like any valuable asset, maturity does not come without a cost. It requires patience, understanding, and the ability to see beyond the surface. It demands the courage to face our fears, the strength to admit our mistakes, and above all, the wisdom to learn from them. Yes, the journey to maturity is often a challenging one, filled with trials and tribulations. It's about making difficult decisions, taking responsibility, and sometimes walking the road less traveled. But remember, every step on this path, every challenge faced, every mistake made, and lesson learned only adds to your growth, shaping you into a more mature individual. And the rewards? They are immeasurable. Maturity brings peace, balance, and a deeper understanding of life. It allows you to navigate the world with a sense of clarity and purpose. It equips you with the tools to handle life's complexities, to empathize with others, and to make wise decisions. So maturity might cost you, but it's a deal worth making. Because the price of maturity, in the grand scheme of things, is nothing compared to the value it adds to your life.